All right, lads, and welcome back to the Off the Line podcast
Hey,
with myself and Jamie.
hello everyone.
And we're back with another weekly Bosch.
We're back.
It was relatively eventful.
It was
Premier League
boring.
weekend.
It was boring.
It wasn't tad dull. We've had weekends this year with 7-2s and 6-1s. This one probably fell under the category of being relatively forgettable. But we're going to go over kind of a few of the games at the weekend. We're not going to go over all of them. There was a couple of 0-0s and a couple of really uninteresting results, including actually the two results from our teams, which were pretty straightforward and pretty.
West Ham these days just sort of dispatch teams.
Yeah.
And
West Ham and Chelsea obviously engaged in a top four battle.
Christ.
Who could have seen that coming in September?
Yeah.
But no, we'll do that. We'll go over the games from the weekend. We'll do some power rankings. We'll talk about who we thought was good, who we thought was bad. And then we'll finish off looking forward to this weekend, where there is some absolutely massive games.
Some corkers. Some absolute
corkers. All over the table. And we will talk about them later on. Should we start, Jamie? Should we crack on?
Let's start.
We start in the middle of the country. The King Power Stadium. Midday on Saturday. And
Lovely sunny day, wasn't it?
The current champions absolutely falling apart again in the last 15 minutes of a game.
Yeah, I mean, you would be able to watch the last 15 minutes and have all the entertainment that you need. You don't need to watch the first 75 minutes of this game particularly. But Liverpool went 1-0 up, obviously through Salah, who's been absolutely ridiculous this season and continues to be sort of Liverpool's shining light. But then Leicester just came in, scored 3 good goals. They weren't all good goals, obviously. Jamie Vardy's one was a bit of a tap in, and we'll talk about the mistake that went on a bit later. We'll do a mini power rankings, but I didn't watch all of this game. I only caught the little bit of the first half and some of the highlights. What were your sort of opinions on this game?
Well, overall, I thought Liverpool played quite well. Towards the back end of the game. I thought they controlled the game really nicely. Salah obviously scored a great goal. A goal reminiscent of the football that they were playing last season. Yeah. And then Leicester City scored 3 goals in 7 minutes. Yeah. Which is, it is more reminiscent of the way that Liverpool have been playing this season. Yeah. There was obviously some controversy about the VAR decision to rule out. Liverpool wanted the first goal ruled out for an offside. There was obviously a VAR check on the free kick to see if it was a penalty. So there was always going to be controversy surrounding that. Personally, I think that the offside was too close to call, and that it was the right decision to leave it and allow the goal.
But it's the lack of consistency, I think, which has annoyed Liverpool fans and Premier League fans alike.
Which you can understand, but this isn't so much a podcast about VAR. I think in this instance, it was used correctly, in my opinion. I think they got this one just about right. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say they got it back, but they've given a goal, and it was credit to Leicester because they then obviously went up the other end. You said Jamie Vardy bagged the goal, which was the result of a
calamitous error.
Poor defensive mishap between a goalkeeper who is obviously struggling for confidence and Liverpool's brand new, spanking centre back who's coming from Schalke, very highly rated youngster, and that is the perfect way to start off your Premier League career, getting absolutely clattered into 25 yards out by your goalkeeper.
Yeah, not fun.
And then Harvey Barnes wrapped it up with a great goal.
But what I will ask you is, are Leicester title contenders?
No. I don't.
Is anyone title contenders at this point?
We'll move on to City in a second, but I just can't. It's very much like last season, where 5 weeks ago we were sat here thinking, this is amazing, what a close title race, this is fantastic, how exciting this league has become, and Manchester City have gone and won, is it 12 games in a row now?
Yeah.
So, not quite as exciting anymore. Manchester City have turned up the heat and pulled away. I think Leicester will finish in the top 4. I think if Liverpool have dropped down to 6th now, which is a really, really worrying. It's a really, really worrying placement for them because they've gone from being a team that was almost expected and everyone thought warranted a top 4 finish to a team that are now going to have to scrap to get 4th place probably.
Well,
because you look at the teams above them.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it, of that Liverpool side that even on our sort of mid-season predictions a couple of weeks ago, we still both believed that Liverpool were going to finish 2nd. Yeah. And now you fast forward a couple of weeks and Liverpool are looking down and out without a hope. Obviously, they've got the quality of players to keep a high standard, but it's an ever worsening injury crisis. Not that they've mentioned it. And I just think, as a West Ham fan, I'd love to see us, fight for European spots. So of course, I hope that Liverpool don't do as well. But as a football fan,
this is the thing. People can talk about the Liverpool injury crisis, and while I appreciate they have lost their best 2 centre backs, that is, you can't argue that. 3 best centre backs. Now, Fabinho is not a bad replacement at centre back. The other spot has been filled potentially underwhelmingly by the players that they brought in. However, I do think Liverpool are missing performances from players like Thiago Alcantara, who is, in my mind, still yet to make any form of impact in this league.
Yeah.
Sadio Mane has been on and off this season and is really struggling to make an impact after his injury.
Yeah.
Bobby Firmino has been very on and off. These are players that have been fantastic for Liverpool last season, but obviously Thiago wasn't there. Thiago won the Champions League.
Yeah.
These are players you'd have expected to come in and win them the league this year. None of them are turning up.
No.
So Liverpool can sit there and bemoan their injury crisis, and while I think they are a victim of it, I also think that certain players in that squad need to take a look at themselves and understand the situation that they're in now.
Well, yeah, they had a good win against RB Leipzig in midweek in the Champions League, so that might be a little momentum shifter for them. But these, as you say, these players have got to stand up and be counted now if they want to keep battling for those top 4 places, because I think that's what it is now for Liverpool. It is a top 4 battle.
This is the
look
first
at the teams above them. United and Leicester are about 6 points ahead. Chelsea 2 points ahead, looking in a great vein of form under Tuchel, and West Ham. As much as I'd love to say we're going to take Liverpool the distance, I think we've got a tough couple of games coming up, and we'll see if we come through that unscathed. But yeah, it's a difficult time for Liverpool, and obviously there's been a lot of talk surrounding Klopp and whether he'll be leaving, and I just think that would be madness personally. But
I can't see that happening. I think Klopp in his press conference the other day did completely dismiss that and said that he's relishing the challenge of trying to turn around this team and return them back to the form that they were in last year. But it's going to be tough for the whole squad and for the manager, because this is the first time in 2-3 years that Liverpool have actually genuinely struggled. That Liverpool have genuinely been in a position where they're having to fight for top 4. Even if you look back at the season before they won the league, they chased City the entire way. They chased City all the way to the final whistle on the final day. So,
and I think you do have to have an incredible amount of luck when it comes to injuries, because Liverpool last year barely had any injuries whatsoever
at all.
And they won the league by a long way. And obviously City had some injuries that they had to contest with, but City have come back this season and they look absolutely just mind-blowing football going on from them at the moment. But I think we'll talk about that result now. I think we'll move on from the Liverpool-Leicester result. Just a quick props to Leicester as well. Played fantastically. Love watching Leicester play, and I hope that they get top 4 this season, because I think they fully deserve it.
Definitely.
But yeah, we'll talk about City-Tottenham. Tottenham, they were hopeless. Absolutely hopeless.
It's not the first time this season that I've watched Tottenham, big team, look hopeless. They were pretty woeful against us.
Yeah.
They were turned over by Liverpool a few weeks ago, and that's a Liverpool team that look kind of in dire straits at the moment and still turn them over. look, people are going to expect me and Jamie to tear into Tottenham here because obviously we have allegiances to clubs in London, and that be what it will. But while Tottenham were absolutely awful, and while I think that some of the blame should be placed upon them, and while I think that people should now at that club be looking at Jose Mourinho and questioning whether he is the right person with this vein of football in this style to take them forward, you can't detract from Manchester City, who are
complete team,
absolutely are an unbelievable football team. You know, they've struggled this season with injuries as well. Sergio Aguero's been out for the majority of the year. Gabriel Jesus has been in and out. I think, you know, Kevin De Bruyne has suffered with injuries. You know, these
John Stones was out for a long time.
You know, these are marquee players for them. I understand what people say about their squad depth, but Pep Guardiola's reinvented that team this season to play without a centre forward at times.
Yeah.
And his managerial capabilities are out for everyone to see at this point. He's reinvented the way that team are playing football, and he's changed it to suit the league, and they are tearing through teams. I mean, Ilkay Gundogan looks a different player.
What an absolute beast of a player that Gundogan has turned out to be this season, you know. Just his return has improved so much this season from previous ones, and I think Pep sort of said to him, look, you've got to take some of the buck here and really put the team on you, not put the team on your back, but you've got to go out there and be counted, and I think he's thrived under that. And, you know, you just look at every player there. He's just an absolutely complete player. Joao Cancelo is reborn in this new system. It's sort of inverted wing-back, sort of centre mid that he seems to be playing. And the whole team knows exactly what they're doing. And every run that's being made is absolutely spot on. And when you've got players like Phil Foden and Raheem Sterling, Gundogan and Silva playing like they are, with Kevin De Bruyne just coming back from injury, you know, and Riyad Mahrez off the bench, it is an absolutely scary team, and you'd hope they'd, you know, for their sake, you'd hope they'd go on and win the title and possibly go far in the Champions League this year as well.
Yeah, well, that's the competition that City have always it's always eluded Manchester City in one way or another. You know, I know they got to the semi-final a few years ago and were beaten by Real Madrid, who obviously went on and won it. They were obviously soundly beaten by Tottenham in a absolute shell shock moment at the end of that game a couple of years ago. They've produced some great Champions League moments, but you know, they need to start to get further on in that competition to validate success in this country. You know, they can continue to win the Premier League and continue to be successful in England, but I think to validate Pep Guardiola's managerial capabilities and to validate him as one of the very best in the world, I think he does need to go on in that competition with Manchester City and start to achieve there. That might just be me being biased, but for a club the size of Manchester City not to have won a European Cup at this point with the players that they've got and the personnel that they have behind closed doors and everything and like that, I think that they should be getting further on in that, and this could be their year. You know, we don't know. I know they've got Mönchengladbach in this round. And if they get past that, then it's anyone's guess once you get into the quarterfinals. Really, that competition is.
Well, they look imperious, don't they? They look like a beat any team any day. And I think they will continue to do that. But Spurs again poor, and we'll see how they bounce back against West Ham on Sunday. I think that'll be an interesting matchup.
It's a massive game.
We'll talk about that in a bit. The others, we won't talk about all the other games because, as we say, they're a bit. You know, there was a couple of shocks in there. Fulham with a 2-0 win against Everton, 2 goals for new signing Josh Maja, and that's what Fulham have needed to do. They've needed to turn those draws into wins if they had to stand any chance of staying up. 4-2 win for Arsenal. Aubameyang back in the goals. He'll be pleased with that. And a precious point for Big Sam against Manchester United. Will be vital for them. A great goal from Bruno Fernandes to equalise, but I don't think Man United even looked in the game at all at the Hawthorns, and we'll see how.
No, West Brom largely the better side. I thought for big portions of the game. Manchester United never really got off the starting blocks. You know, like you said, it's a fantastic goal from Bruno Fernandes, but it's the same story for Manchester United. of them relying on their talisman to dig them out of trouble.
Yeah.
It's happened over and over again this season.
Yeah.
They've got to find some performances from somewhere, Manchester United, because more and more now they're getting sucked out of the title race and sucked back towards this black hole top 4 race between 6 or 7 different sides. And once you're in that, then there's danger, because once you're in that battle and once you're in the kind of the dogfight of teams trying to overtake you, I know we've got Manchester United, Chelsea have got Manchester United next weekend. That is a massive, massive game.
I think we've got West Ham have got them in a couple of weeks as well. So
you look at those fixtures. If Manchester United don't win both of those, they're very much in it, and they're at that point they're then being chased by the likes of Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, West Ham, who are in a fantastic run of form at the moment.
Everton
and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've said it a lot this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to have to start pulling performances from somewhere, because Manchester United have struggled to get results now against West Brom, Sheffield United, teams at the very bottom of the league.
Yeah.
Propping the rest of the table up. And I mean, Sheffield United had won one game before they went to Manchester United and got a result there. So I don't know what it is about that side, whether they think they're too good to turn up against these little sides, whether they underestimate the relegation battling teams. It remains to be seen, but they consistently seem to be struggling to get results against smaller sides. But that is what it is. We'll move on to power rankings. We're going to do one each this week. And Jamie, I think the decision between me and you for the good one was pretty unanimous.
Straight away, you pretty much said it at the same time at the start of the just before the start of the recording, and we touched on it briefly when we were talking about City versus Tottenham. Ilkay Gundogan, talk about him, Sam.
He's fantastic. I mean, what a player! The goals he scored at the weekend were both exceptional. The second one, especially the ball from Ederson. And the poise and the touch to bring it down and to turn the centre back inside out was
inside out's an understatement of what happened to Davinson Sanchez.
If you haven't seen the highlights of the game from the other day, go and watch it. And if you do yourself a favour, watch the third goal, because it's an example of pure what it means to be a Premier League footballer and the level of ability that these guys have got to pluck the ball out of the air that it's been sent 70 yards and to take it down, drop a shoulder, put someone literally on their face and then slide it in. It's fantastic. And it was a goal reminiscent of the very best in the world, which I think that Gundogan is putting himself in that category with his performances week in, week out for Manchester City. I think he's been fantastic all year for them, and he continues to outperform every midfield in the country. So I couldn't be more impressed with him.
11 goals this season from midfield.
Yeah, and at the start of the season, I didn't see it happening. I've got to be honest. Gundogan has been a player that has sat in behind at Manchester City. He's been in and out of the starting lineup. I don't feel like he's ever really made an impact before this year.
Glimpses, but nothing.
Yeah, he's struggled with injuries at times, and I think he has kind of been in and out of Pep Guardiola's plans.
Yeah,
obviously he was playing behind players like Fernandinho at times. David Silva, obviously before this year, was in there, and then obviously the players like Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden. I think it is important that Gundogan has pulled out these performances because he's written his name into the hat of those players that can't not be picked now.
Yeah,
and, I didn't expect him to be that, but he's earned that spot, and I do hope that he carries on performing, because at the end of the day, me and Jamie were football fans. We like to watch good football players play football.
Yeah.
So, and you can't not enjoy watching the way that Manchester City are playing at the moment.
Yeah, as a football fan, like you know, allegiances aside, you watch Man City and you're having fun. Do you know what I mean? I watched them play against Everton last night, and they just ripped through them. Bernardo Silva and Mahrez doing the business, and then they bring Kevin De Bruyne off the bench, and it's like, oh my god, stop!
It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
But yeah, that's City at the moment. They're absolutely ridiculous, and I don't see them losing anytime soon unless a shock result happens. But yeah, we'll talk about our low ranking, and we don't want to sort of jump on the bandwagon. And these are not what the power rankings are for. They're just to highlight poor performances. But we will say that Alisson this week and the past few weeks has been a goalkeeper short of confidence, let's say, Sam. 3 mistakes leading to goals in the past 2 matches. A massive miscommunication with new signing Ozan Kabak. And you know, that's understandable. He's just come in and obviously haven't had a lot of time to play together. But at the same time, you know, this is a world-class goalkeeper.
Yeah.
With, you know, who's a Golden Glove winner, and best goalkeeper in the world winner a couple of seasons back. You almost it's almost inexcusable making those kinds of mistakes, especially in a team like Liverpool, who needed to win that game against Leicester and needed to get a result out of the City game as well if they wanted to maintain some sort of challenge for the title. But unfortunately, he's been very poor and has cost Liverpool points. What do you reckon about it?
I think the issue is with Alisson, the mistakes that he's made are, none of them seem to be just he's missed a save or he's, you know, they're mistakes that he's made with his feet, they're mistakes that he's made with his decision making. The one against City where he's kind of just passed it out to someone, it looked lethargic, it looked is completely different. The mistake against Leicester is a decision-making issue.
Yeah,
where he's probably been caught in 2 minds about whether he's going to come and claim the ball. In that situation, you'd expect your goalkeeper to either put his name on it, and in which case the centre-back would obviously leave it and would trust the goalkeeper to be there to clear it, or the goalie would trust the centre-back to be able to deal with the issue. Whether Alisson sees, you know, a young rookie centre-back who's come in from, you know, like you said, he hasn't had much time. Alisson's made the decision to come and claim the ball and hasn't informed the centre-back, or Kabak's tried to clear it anyway. And there's such a catastrophic mishap in doing that they've collided with each other. The ball's popped out and it's gone to the last person you want it to go to in that situation. I think Alisson will need to. I think he'll be okay. Like you said, we're not commenting on Alisson as a player. We're not saying that Alisson is a bad goalkeeper. We're just commenting on his poor performances over the course of the last 2 weeks, and I think that is completely well-founded. I think that he has, over the last 2 weeks, cost Liverpool potentially 4-6 points. And that is an issue that can't be overlooked and will have to be sorted by Jurgen Klopp. The issue is that Jurgen Klopp probably won't make the decision to drop him, because obviously the replacements he's got in behind Kelleher and Adrian aren't exactly world class.
They don't scream confidence, do they?
No, and it's going to have to be sorted in house pretty quickly. Alisson looked a little bit better against Leipzig last night and looked a lot more sturdy and reliable. And I think that overall he will bounce back and he'll recover. I think it's just a case of him easing his way back into confidence and just making some saves. I think he'll bounce back. It was another instance at the weekend where it's almost piling on for him. You know, He probably wasn't in the best frame of mind after the City game, and it's just gone again for him. And that's something that happens with goalkeepers. Yeah. And the mark of it has to be said is whether he can, you know, now bounce back from that and perform for the rest of the season from Liverpool and help them climb back up the table.
Yeah, dead on. Right, lovely. Yeah. We'll move on to our predictions for next week. We're only going to go through a couple of the games because we want to keep this nice, short and sweet.
Well, the first big one that I can see is the Merseyside Derby, Jamie.
Yeah, it's not a bad game to start on, is it? I think
it's quite a big one.
Both teams off the back of some very poor results. Obviously, Everton lost their last 2 against Fulham and against Manchester City most recently. And I think Liverpool, again, will be looking for a win. It's at Anfield against Everton. I think they're going to be up for it. I think Klopp will have them up for it. And, you know, Everton never get results against Liverpool. You know my rule, though, Sam.
Jamie, are you going to sit on the fence again?
I wouldn't. I don't like the term sitting on the fence. I think I prefer having common sense, I think is the better term here. Derby's ending draws.
Do they?
Derby's ending draws.
Wonderful.
So yeah, 1-1. If it's 1-1. Wrong, then great.
I'm going to say 2-0 Everton.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bold. Don Carlo is going to get Everton a result here.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool are in a real rut at the moment. They have obviously played in midweek. Everton have got Everton obviously played against City last night. Liverpool played away was it Bucharest against Leipzig the other night. So much more. It was more of a journey for them back from there. Probably had a very slow training session on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it will come down to it. But I think that Liverpool will probably be the more fatigued out of the two sides.
Yeah.
And I would back Everton in this situation, even though it's away at Anfield.
Right.
Liverpool obviously struggled at Anfield recently. Anyway, we will move on to a game important for another reason at the very other end of the table.
This is a 6
Fulham against Sheffield United, Jamie.
Huge 6-pointer.
It's a relegation 6-pointer.
Down the bottom. And you'd think that whoever loses this goes down, really. I don't know.
Well, I'd say that if Sheffield United beat Fulham, they're both going down. Because I'm still firmly in the belief that Sheffield United have left their promotion bid, have left their survival bid far too late.
And they didn't look good against West Ham.
They've left this vein of form that I'd say vein of form. They've left the results that they've got far too late.
Yeah.
To rectify the situation
and Fulham looking good.
I mean, if Fulham beat them. But Fulham have got to continue to get results. This is Fulham's opportunity to beat them and climb back within, 3 points of Newcastle.
This would be a huge win.
Obviously, Newcastle. With Newcastle as well playing Manchester United on the Sunday, this is a massive moment for Fulham to rekindle their season. Absolutely. And I've got to be honest, as I would like to see them stay up. I really would. So we've given our. I'm going to say Fulham are going to win. I'm going to say a 2-0 win for Fulham.
I'm also
going
to do that. I'm going to say Fulham win. But this could go either way. Sheffield will be up for this game, especially after their poor performance against West Ham. And it'll be an interesting match to watch. I think I'll definitely tune into that one. Anyway, we move on to Sunday midday. Huge match for both teams, really. West Ham and Spurs. I think this is a test for West Ham to say, are you actually serious about getting Europe this year? I think it's so difficult because obviously we had the result earlier in the season, the 3-3 last minute from Lanzini, absolute limbs. And I think Tottenham aren't confident at the moment, and I think West Ham. This is a fantastic opportunity for West Ham. This game, I think we at home. I think we can definitely beat Tottenham here. But again, it's Tottenham, and we always sort of. I don't know. Sam, help me. I need some help here.
It's difficult. It is a tough one to call. It depends on which Tottenham turn up. It depends on which West Ham turn up.
Yeah.
Depends on the team that West Ham play. There's so many variables that are chucking around in this game. And obviously you had the game earlier on in the season that makes it almost more difficult to call because of the nature of the way that West Ham got a point in that game. I can remember you being more than excited about that result. Lanzini scoring the only really goal he scored this season, so a massive moment for West Ham. This is a big game for West Ham, more so than it is Tottenham, I think, because I think if you win this, you have laid your claim to a top four battle, and you have laid your claim to being very much in the race for it.
Yeah, I think if we lose this, we've got City the week after as well, which 2 losses in terms of a top 4 battle and this is me assuming that we're going to lose against City, just because it's City.
City.
But yeah, I think 2 losses in this situation would be really a knock to our sort of charge for European spots. So I think we do need to get a result out of this if we want to really be serious about being at the top end of the table at the end of the season.
Definitely.
So what are you going to go for?
1-1.
Fair enough.
London Derby. Yeah. I don't think either team will want to lose it more than they'll want to win it. Personally,
yeah.
I think both teams will be pretty comfortable to take a point here, and kind of take that and run. So I'm going to say it'll be 1-1, and we'll move on to. Or what are you going to say? What are you going to say?
I was hoping to get away with not predicting that because I don't want to look like a mug. Yeah, I'm going to go bold. I'm going to say we're going to win.
Jamie reckons West Ham are going on a big European holiday.
Can you imagine
West Ham
Mikel Antonio at the Bernabeu? Gives me shivers.
Footballing culture would shake.
Yeah,
you can't teach that kind of pedigree. Yeah, no, okay. I'll let you. What do you reckon the score's going to be? Go on.
2-1. 2-1. I reckon we'll score from a corner. Craig Dawson. And yeah, hopefully we come out with a result. Anyway, we'll move on to. Should we talk about Aston Villa Leicester briefly? Because I feel like this is an important one. Aston Villa really need a win here. I think they've been a little bit poor recently. They've come up with some good results, but we'll see how they fare against Leicester. A Leicester side that's high on confidence as well, especially after that Liverpool win. I do think Leicester will win this game. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think Leicester will probably get a result here. Who knows? I reckon Leicester will win. I reckon Leicester will win 2-0. I think it'll be pretty routine for them. Yeah. I think Aston Villa have been in the best form, so I reckon Leicester will win 2-0 here.
Lovely. We'll go to the Emirates, the 4:30 kickoff. Arsenal versus Manchester City. Big game for Arsenal. Yeah. I think they'll want to pull out a performance against a City who look unstoppable at the moment.
I can't see it happening. I
can't
see it.
It depends on what Aubameyang turns up, whether it's the one that we saw last week against Leeds or the one that's he's been for the rest of the season. But yeah, I just think City have too much momentum, too much quality at the moment, and I feel like this is going to be. It might turn out to be a little bit of a rout as well, especially if they get an early goal. So for me, this is a City win and a comfortable City win, a 3-1. I'm going to go for.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what? I'll back you on that. I'll back you on it.
Yeah. Sweet. We'll talk about the last one because I just wanted to mention this. I don't want to talk about United Newcastle because it's a bit of a just a usual game. We'll talk about the Monday night kickoff just quickly. Brighton versus Crystal Palace. The weirdest derby. The weird derby.
the strange one. The bird derby. The M23 dot. It's a really.
That's what it's called.
No one really knows. No one really knows why these lot don't like each other.
Eagles versus seagulls, man. That's why. It's like the blood and the Crips in the bird world.
Strange reason to have a derby. I'm sorry, like completely off topic here. It is a very strange rivalry. This one.
But they do hate each other. I can confirm they absolutely despise each other. It's because they've got no one else, so they've just got.
Yeah, they do. To be fair, there's not really many decent South London football teams, and there's not really many decent. There's only one football team from Brighton, so it is difficult. Brighton obviously
shade on Eastbourne Borough, but
yeah, well, just not on the same level, mate. No. They could get there one day. We don't know. We just don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about this game quickly. I think Brighton are the team this season playing well but not getting the results they need.
Yeah.
Kind of epitomising the Premier League in a way because like I said, playing fantastically and producing great football, but struggling to get goals and struggling to get results. And it's been the story of their season so far.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, again, another team on and off, massively on and off. 7-0 beaten, battered by Liverpool, and then getting results against bigger teams.
That's what Palace do every year.
Again, it's another situation. Yep, it's a difficult situation. It's one of them situations where you've got to look at it and say, well, it's which team turns up for both of them.
Yeah. I fancy Brighton.
I'm going to say Brighton are going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Brighton are going to win 1-0.
I think they're slightly more
I don't
confident.
think it'll be glittering.
No.
I don't think it'll be showbiz, but I think Brighton will come away with a very slender result.
Yeah, I think Palace, off the back of a really poor result against Burnley, the 3-0, where they just looked down without a fight very early on.
Yeah.
I think if you shut down Zaha and Eze, you've pretty much got the game against Palace. And I think they have the players to. Yeah. I think Brighton have the players to do that. And you look further forward, and you look at players like Leandro Trossard, who's been very good for Brighton this season. I think when he's come on, showed glimpses. I think we've both gone for Brighton there. We've both gone for very similar predictions this week. I don't know if that's ever really happened before.
It's just wavelengths, Jamie. It's just wavelengths. I think it's because I've been predicting so many right. You've just started going with me, and that's understandable. Yeah, sometimes you just have to give. Sometimes you just have to. Game recognises game. You've seen that I have that ability to just predict results, and you've started going with
the
me.
potluck.
If you need any betting tips, or if you need any kind of any kind of fantasy football tip offs, just drop us a message on the Off the Line socials on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'll do my best to guide you on this journey towards financial stability.
Shut up, you. Right. Let's outro. It's been a great week in Premier League football, and we're always excited for the next one. We'll have a stream for you tomorrow, I think, technology permitting, as we always say. Of course. And hopefully we'll have another video out for you on Sunday as well, a more conversational one. Because I know, as much as we like doing the Bosches every week, we also like to have a diverse brand of content as well. So, Leave a like, subscribe, follow on the socials. It's been a pleasure, Sam. Take us out.
Jamie's outroed us.
No.
Left to say, boys, it's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure. Make sure you, like Jamie said, make sure you subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Drop a like, turn the bell on, all of that wonderful stuff. If you're listening on Spotify, save us to a playlist or follow us or whatever you do on Spotify. All that great. Share it with your friends. Send it to your family. Message your grandma for the first time in 6 months and just say, "Oi, got this great podcast you should listen to." Just give her a little nudge and just wake her up and say, "Look, I've got this great podcast you should listen to." Nan. This is a family friendly
ish
broadcast. We're just trying to provide family friendly content, unless Tom Darling's on it, in which case don't show that episode to anyone.
No,
really, just make sure they're over 18 or below the age of 60, so we're not going to cause any heart palpitations or anything like that. So, but no, it's been an absolute pleasure. This outro's gone down a rabbit hole as per usual.
That doesn't sound like
we'll catch you boys. We'll catch you boys in the next one. We're going to do a longer episode, which will probably be coming out either later this week or early next week. Yeah. So look out for that, and we will catch the lot of you next time.
Bye-bye.